This is solenoid maintenance for the Eclipse CS2. Frame needs to be removed from the body. Please see the other video for how to do that. Also need to remove the rear grips, and the instructions for those in the manual. Once the frame's been removed and the grips have been removed, first thing we need to do is unplug the pilot valve from the secondary circuit board. To grip that, move that to the side and straighten it out. Now we need to remove the retaining pin. You'll see there's a large side and a small side. I'm going to push from the small side through the frame. The pin will just drop out. You can see the pin has a O-ring. It's just a friction O-ring. It doesn't seal anything. It's just to hold the pin in place, stop it falling out. Place that to one side. And now we can lift out solenoid assembly. The frame can be placed to one side. Before we place the frame, you see in the bottom of here there is a gasket. The gasket just lifts out. Place that to one side too. And now there's just a transfer port from the regulator up through the frame into the bottom of the solenoid assembly. Frame can go to one side and concentrate on the actual solenoid assembly itself. We also have a gasket at the top. That's two gaskets, one at the bottom, one at the top. They are different shapes and they are different gaskets. They'll only fit in the relevant pocket. Then we have a pilot, a mounting plate, and the valve body itself. In the centre of there is the spool. This is what we're concentrating on now to clean and re-grease the spool. First of all, you'll need a number 1 Phillips driver to remove the two pilot mounting screws. You can do both of those and place that to one side. This item is non-serviceable. There's nothing inside here that can be cleaned, lubricated, repaired. It's just a sealed unit. We'll place that to one side. You're now going to require a number 0 Phillips head driver to remove the two small screws that hold the plate in place. These are very small screws. I have to be careful with them that you don't lose them. Remove both of those. Try and keep those in the plate. Place to one side. Now you can see the large side of the piston here. Just push the spool. You can see the large side of the spool here. Push the spool out from the rear side. That's the spool. You can see the old grease on the spool. This is what we're going to clean off and replace with fresh grease. I'm going to use a microfiber to wipe off the old grease. Inspect the seals. Make sure there's no obvious and visible cuts on that. Then we can clean out front and rear. The valve body itself. This is just now a machine block. There's no further parts inside there. Can re-grease and reassemble this now. Very small amount of grease required because they're very small O-rings. 6x1 is the large one, and 2 the number 6 custom seals. Smaller end, right in the middle and the smaller end. So we've got a bit of grease on. That's all we need. Spool goes in. Finish with the grease at this point. Now it's simply a case of reassembling it. Drop the plate back on. Reattach plate using the very small Phillips screws. These don't want to be tight at all. Literally fingertip tight. Just go until they stop with fingertips. Take the pilot with the two pilot screws. Pilot screws go through the plate into the valve body. Your number 1 Phillips driver. Go from side to side, tightening these up. Don't just tighten one side down first. Go from side to side. Again, doesn't have to be overly tight, but slightly tighter than the two smaller Phillips screws. Straighten out the wire and reattach the frame now. So I'm going to drop in the two gaskets, one in the bottom and one in the top. I'm going to guide the wire through the hole so it comes out into the circuit board pocket. Push the solenoid assembly down. Then we're going to drop in, hold it all in place. While you drop in, push the pin back in. It should be flush on this side. Last thing to do, push the plug back in. This only goes in one way. Push the plug back in. Push the wire down to the side. And that is now ready to be reassembled back onto the CS2 body and the grips put back on. That's the solenoid maintenance complete.